Pacific. Especially we had new songs from not just Millie and Moxie, but specifically Moxine and Millard. And I would love to hear from both of you doing that episode, especially how you were musically recording for that one.
On a microphone.
Yeah, if you could sing the whole thing now, we would appreciate that.
Everybody look at me. That was a fun one. I was blown away by Vivian's Millard part of it. I was so amazed by it. Vivian's already an amazing singer, but this song was in a lower key, and I actually asked Vivian Medrano, who's singing Millie's part? It's just, that's Vivian. I'm like, oh my God, she's amazing, which I already knew, but.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was me. I always think that the demo sounds better. I'm like, Sam, you know, you make it. Sam does it. Well, everyone who ever does a demo for me, for my character, it's always like way up here.
Yes.
It's like, everybody look at me. All of you losers wish you could be like me. Anyway, and so my key is actually higher than
Yeah, we should switch keys. I should actually be singing your key, and you should be singing my key.
But it's
But we
fun.
work it out.
We always work it out. We always work it out.
We always work it out.
Millie!
Yes, it was an absolute joy recording that episode, and Millard was so much fun because I got to dig into this dude character that I never play, and it was so fun singing like that, and it was awesome. So thank you, Sam Haft, thank you, Viv Medrano, for giving me the opportunity to just be a guy and play somebody who, you know, I normally wouldn't get to play because my roots of film, television, and theater, I'm always typecast. And so, right, the sky's the limit in this industry, and I love that.
And really fast, I know we only have you for a bit, but I would love to talk with you, especially your song, because you're playing opposite yourself in this show. So yeah, this one's for Faye, because I would love to hear about your Glitz and Glam song and process work with Sam on that.
I voiced both Glitz and Glam, and it was amazing to be a part of this show. I mean, I've always admired Viv's stuff. I voiced Katie Killjoy in Hazbin Hotel, the pilot. And thank you. And I wasn't sure if I would get another opportunity like this again. So I was just really happy. It sounds very K-poppy, the Clown Bitch song, and I love it. I'm a big fan of Katie Gay. And it's incredible. Sam Haft is extremely talented. And I admire every single person on this cast, so to be a part of it now is just, it's just amazing. So thank you so much.
We have already gotten some bangers from Veronica in so far in the show, but can we mention right now we have more Veronica coming up is it this season? Is it next? What are we looking at?
Yes, very soon. There will be more Veronica in this season, and more Veronica songs as well.
And how has it been for you? Because I know you've done a lot of music before joining up with the show, but what was it like writing with Sam and working on a song that's on a lot of very weird people's special Spotify playlists like Bone Town?
Listen, it really expanded my my resume because now when you search Google, it's not just Christina V. Ladybug, it's Christina V. Vacay to Bone Town. So I really appreciate expanding my audience. It's been amazing, and I'm a huge musical theater person, so getting to sing songs with these incredibly talented people has been so awesome, and I love the reception, and I love Veronica and getting to meet all of you guys. So it's been such a blessing. All version of blessing, whatever that is.
Yeah, it's been a hex. Is that what it is? It's been a hex.
It's such a curse.
It's been a curse of an experience. We've seen so many different character evolutions over the course of this season, and also with our finally revealing episode 8 of season 1, which is a huge Luna episode. And for Erica, yeah, that's you. I'm talking. I know you. It's for you. It's for you. The question's actually for you. This is actually for you
Christina was
right now.
distracting me with her hot.
It's okay. It's okay. This is just us talking now. Christina's not even here right now, so this is just us. Don't even talk. Don't even mention.
Yeah.
So I would love to ask you about the evolution of Luna this season, including us meeting B at the end of season 1, and how you felt evolving with the character, and also how much you knew before recording these episodes once you joined onto the show versus where you are now with her.
Yeah, I mean, when I did the 5-minute, the pilot, she felt, I didn't get to, she was kind of just like coming in with a witty quip every once in a while, so I didn't really get to delve into her as a character, because if you're playing a character correctly, they should be able to run the gamut of emotions. It doesn't matter. And I remember being a little bit scared because I went, okay, I'm not just yelling at people to shut up anymore, or I'm not just saying I'm gonna eat your avocado sandwich from this fridge, screw all of you. It was no, we actually are getting into some meat here, and she's showing her vulnerabilities. So it was really nerve-wracking because I was like, okay, how do I stay in character and also show these different facets of her personality? But it's been really cool and really freeing, because I feel what's really cool about this being an original show is we made these characters, from the beginning, and I have so much freedom to sort of just be myself and play. So that's been very gratifying. Yeah.
Thank you. And speaking of character evolutions, we have seen a lot from Blitz this season, not just personally, but with relationships he's had with other characters. You've come a long way from where we saw you with Robo-Fizz in Lululand to where you and Fizzaroli are now in your friendship and relationship. And I'd love to talk to you not just as a performer, but also somebody who writes with the show, how it's been to take the character to where they're at now at halfway through season 2.
I think a lot of people, it was tough when we did the first, when episode 3 was coming out, you didn't really see any serious deep sides of Blitz until really episode 6. And so we had already recorded the back half of season 1, and I knew that Blitz was this well-defined 3-dimensional character, but yet everyone's he's silly because episode 3 or 4 is only out. We only think he's oh god, you don't know how deep this character is. But I think that a lot of people didn't expect for him to be so 3-dimensional, because there's a stigma that if a character's funny, then they immediately don't have the capability to have their heart broken, to go through a relatable problem, to be dealing with traumas that other people go through. People think that comedy characters are just there to be laughed at. People can be two things at once, and I think that Blitz is funny, and he has his moments that aren't his best, but he also has very real feelings that I think people can relate to. And I certainly relate to him a lot. I write for him, and he's someone who's very near and dear to me. And so when I see other people relating to him too, it's very gratifying, because it makes me feel in a weird way that I'm finding some form of acceptance through other people, because I relate to him a lot too. And what was your question?
You're doing great.
Yeah.
I love the rain.
Thank you. Oh yes, the range, and he's sad and he gets happy.
And hopefully you and Erica can do a father-daughter song soon.
Just throw it out, ideas.
What did you say? I didn't hear you. Sorry, what?
You guys could do a father-daughter song
yeah,
soon.
absolutely.
We do all the time, just in our personal lives.
That's
We
our
do
personal lives.
duets all the
Every
time.
morning,
Do the
Brandon.
drive-through, just singing to one another.
Yeah, that would actually be very, very fun. I would love that.
So bringing the music question kind of to a close, Vivian, the music is such a big aspect of the show. Kind of every episode, we just had the big musical episode, Mamon's magnificent musical mid-season, or as my girlfriend calls it,
That's a good way to call it.
Yeah, and you get to work with Tony Broadway voice actors and for singers. Why so much music, and what element of that do you bring to it?
Well, I am a massive musical theater fan. I just grew up with, it definitely rooted in the early Disney Renaissance movies, because I really think that animation goes hand in hand with musicals. Like they just, they require a lot of suspension of disbelief, and animation, it just like, it's so whimsical, and so it's paired really well. And animation is colorful, and it's expressive, and it's able to kind of do whatever it wants. And I don't know, I've always thought the combination was great, and I obviously am an animator first and foremost, and a storyteller first and foremost, but my escape for a while was musical theater. I still go to Broadway all the time. I love seeing like every single show I can. I love seeing, I've had the amazing honor to see so many members of my cast perform in shows, and I don't know, like I'm a geek when it comes to musical theater, so all my projects just feel part of that world.
And that passion is absolutely there, because the songs are banger after banger. Like,
I'm
so
also very
good.
picky about that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the music is
Like,
so good.
Being a musical theater fan, I am, picky about the music, and the bar has just kept being raised by, like, Sam Haft obviously is amazing, but we also have Andrew Underberg, we have Julian Hornick, we have Andrew Butler, we have so many songwriters, Perry Grip, just brilliant songwriters all across the series, and they all have different styles, and they've all worked in varying degrees of musical theater, off-Broadway, Broadway, all those things. So, yeah, I love it. It's a world I love, and in a world I'm in, and yeah.
Awesome, thank you. So my next question, kind of for everybody, and we can go down the line again if we would like, however you're more comfortable, is this all started somewhere, and all of you have done other things before this. I know for a lot of you, some of you have done voice acting, but for some of you, you come from a different world. What was it like getting started with the show, and did you ever see the crazy amount of growth happening? What is that like? What's that experience like?
I will say that I thought it was a furry fighting game when I auditioned. And I've said that on the record many times. I had no idea what this was. And I remember I was hungover when we recorded that pilot. I know.
You were in
I was over 21, like, come on, man. No, I remember stumbling in and just going, what? Like, I was supposed to have gotten the script, but I didn't, and then you were like, I didn't know I was going to be doing every female character in the pilot. Like, I was like, oh, I'm Luna, and then it was like, we need you to do all the girls, and I was like, okay, cool. So I just made up a bunch of stuff on the fly, and I remember dragging Justin Briner, who's here, not in this room, but he's another voice actor. I dragged him to the premiere of
the screening
screening of the short, and I was like, yeah, there's this thing called Has Been Hotel, but she's screening this 5-minute, thing, and then I thought that was going to be the end of it. And I remember seeing the poster, many of which I've signed today, that same poster, and I saw them, and I just was like, wow, that's really cool. And then I went, oh well, it's probably not going to, go anywhere, whatever. And then it ended up being this crazy thing. You really end up falling just ass backwards into the coolest stuff sometimes. You just have no idea. But yeah, I'm very happy that I auditioned, and I'm very happy I got to hang on to Luna. I love Luna. She's great.
And now you're on a t-shirt.
And
so.
now I'm on your t-shirt.
Yeah.
So.
Bryce, what about you?
Yeah, so Erica's response made me think, sometimes the best place to create from is a place without expectation. And that's definitely true for my involvement in this. Viv wrote to me during the pandemic when, again, there's not much going on. And I said, yeah, I would love to work on something, anything. And I think if I had known what this was, I don't know that it would have been as easy to just create something out of the blue. And it's just a constant thing we have to remind ourselves as creative people, that sometimes the expectation really gets in the way of the creative process, because you're thinking so much ahead of yourself as opposed to just going, well, what do I think is going to make me laugh today? Or what's my instincts telling me that this character is? And so I think a lot of the early stuff, I think we recorded a lot of season 1 in 1 or 2 goes, for me anyway, and a lot of it was just instinctual. And I look back at that and think, thank goodness that I didn't know what we were embarking on. because it just helped me anyway, just take a really fearless approach to it, which is something we always try to do, but it's not always easy. We think, oh, this is going to be this, and suddenly your nerves start to do this, And I think without that expectation, you can really create from a more instinctual, more playful, more childlike place, and that's certainly at the spirit and heart of this show for sure.
That's awesome, thank you. And Richard, you're not only the voice of Moxie, you are a voice director for the show, and you teach voice classes. Every time I sell a voice class for Richard, I get a role.
I don't know who any of these people are. I thought this was a Power Rangers panel. No, I'll tell you, I believed in the show from the beginning, because when I met Vivian, my lifelong dream was to be a Broadway actor. That was always my dream. I started in musical theater. The first union I was ever in was Equity, and I remember I was 13 and I was listed as singer-dancer, and I could not have been more proud of anything that I had done since. And thank you. And, thanks, Mom. When Vivian told me about the show, and she told me that it was like she and I just felt we were in love with musical theater. In fact, when we're in New York together, my wife Kristen and Vivian and the group, if we can, we try to go see plays. Just last week, I saw Bryce in New York in Little Shop of Horrors. Oh my God! So I believed in Vivian's vision, and that was really important to me because I was at a point in my career where I was like, YouTube show, I don't know, I'm 100 years old, I don't know, I'm not really. Yesterday someone said to me, "You're not that old, Richard." I'm like, "Oh, thanks." But when it came to voice directing, I didn't really know what to expect, and I said to Vivian, I asked her, "Can I voice direct the show?" And Vivian said, "Yes, I would love it." And Vivian had taken my class. Erica's taken my class. Christina took my class. I did Christina's demo
I still
for
use
her
it.
voiceover demo. Yeah.
Please sign up for the class, use code JAMIE.
Yeah. And so, to answer your question, to quote Brandon, what was the question?
I think you answered it pretty thoroughly, but
I love Helluvaboss, and you're gonna love Hasbin too. I'll tell you that
I'm excited for Hasbin, dude. I'm so
Vivian, you got started with, you were coming in for a different role, but then you ended up with this, and you come from acting and TV and theater as well. What's the experience been like?
It's been incredible to be a part of this show, first of all. My dance background I come from a dance background. I actually danced with Ailey too when I was in college, and then fell into musical theater and film and television and other things, and then said, I need to retire, I'm done. And a few years later, I ran into Cree Summer. She brought her kids to my dance academy, and I said, I really miss performing, but you don't want to be in front of the camera. Like, how did you get into this voiceover stuff? And she said, go take a class. So I took a class with Charlie Adler, and I put a demo together with my husband in our makeshift recording booth, and pitched my demo to the agent I wanted to be with, and they signed me, and I started auditioning, and I got to audition for this show. So I originally went in for Keeney. It was during COVID, and I was pregnant, and this came in, and I was like, yeah, let's put on some heels and squeeze my knees together, and came up with some southern accent, and they were like, yeah, come in, we're booking you for Keeney. So I recorded Keeney, and the next day I got a call from production saying that they wanted me to voice Millie. And I was like, who's Millie? And I look, because I only got a few pages when I recorded Keeney. And I learned that I was opposite Richard Horvitz, and I lost my shit. I was like, because I came home after recording with you guys, and I was like, this guy, Richard, he's amazing. Oh my God, honey, like I want to work with him every day. And then now a lifetime to be a part of this cast, a part of this show, and a part of this phenomenon that I had no idea existed until I went to my first con and I was like, what the f is this? You guys are amazing. So thank you for inducting me into this universe. It's been amazing.
Really fast, she has to run back to her booth, but say bye to Faye. She will not be gone long. For everyone who's wondering, Glitz and Glam did not get crushed to death at the end of the episode, so she's still in the running. And now we move on to Christina here.
Kind of your experience, and kind of for you, you've done voice acting for a while, and you have a bunch of different characters. This character's a little different than your other characters, I'd say. Oh.
It's a little different. But I did play Darkness in Konosuba, so it's not that different.
Fair.
I was really lucky. I was offered the role of Rosika, and I love Hasbin. What is going on? What's happening? Oh, you. We need a buffer. Somebody sit here, please. I can't work like this.
This is like a strobe light
This
hitting
is
me from
too
the
much.
side
This is too much. I worked on, I'm not going to say Zootopia, because that's not what it's called. Zoophobia. I keep calling it Zootopia. They're like, who are you? I'm like, oh, they did me that. And yeah, I was offered Brassica, and it was during COVID, and everything was a blur at that time, honestly. It was so stressful at first to be in a pandemic. I'm sure you guys can relate. Yeah, and I'm happy to be alive. And wait, no, I'm happy to be here. I'm great. Hashtag, I'm gonna stop talking now.
Thank you for that. Brendan, you also come from kind of a different world as, correct me if I'm wrong, this is your first voiceover.
It
kind of
is.
thing.
Yes, I was doing YouTube, and I am. You might have heard of it. It's a website. And I was doing, and Viv, very professionally, by the way, went through all the right channels, went through my manager. My manager told me, hey, this kid wants to do the animated thing with you, and I just said, sure. And then he wanted me to write for the damn thing. And Viv sat across from me at a table. We met at a Starbucks, and there was what was it, 2 or 3 shows? There was a few, and you had the poster, like the characters lined up for these 3. And she was like, "Which show do you like the most?" And then I see these characters. There was Blitz, Moxie, Millie, and Stolas, and I'm just like, wow, it's like you got the 3 kids, and then the villain, and it looks cool, and Blitzy. Oh, how dare you? You know, making my heart flutter the way it is a villainous act for us.
Every time he does that, it's a British jump scare.
What was I doing before YouTube? I was turning tricks. I was doing, I don't know. I went to high school, and then before that I ate too many carrots as a toddler, and my pigment turned orange, believe it or not. And then before that, I was in my dad's nuts.
So you were at a Starbucks, and you were basically a pitch meeting. These are 3 different shows. Here are the posters. Which one
am I misquoting that?
No, that was exactly how it went. And I remember being really surprised because, yeah, like I was super not confident in my writing ability at the time. And so I was like, here's this hilarious YouTuber. I was a big fan. I wanted you to voice and I wanted you to write. And you were like, yeah, so I'm free on Sundays and like whatever. And I'm used to, I've had a lot of generals in my career, like general meetings with companies and with actors and with lots of things. And that was the first time, because I'm used to like having those meetings and then maybe I'll hear back like a month later or like something like that, you know, like I'll reach out and wait, and you were just like, yeah, no, like I'm free on Sundays, and like, you know, this or that, and I was like, you like right now, like, can you start? And that's actually
After church, obviously.
I made you come to my apartment at one time.
Yeah.
I was like, it's gonna have to be here.
So I was like, yeah, and so I remember and so we just started right away, and that was during Has-Been's pilot was still being made, so we were still working on that, and then we started writing Helluva's pilot, and that was why it was so soon after Has-Been's release. Like, it was actually not that far afterwards, and it was amazing. Like, I was so honored, and I was also honored because you kind of, like, in a way helped me, like, kind of forced me to write too, because you were really busy, and, you know, so we'd write together, and then I was the one kind of, like, physically screenplaying it. And
It was
I
like
was
a school assignment. Like, we
Yes,
were like,
yeah.
oh, we gotta get together, we gotta finish this
Gotta
episode,
finish
Viv.
it.
It's due by Friday.
Exactly, and I like truly owe you the world, because I have fallen in love with writing
No.
and screenplay writing.
I owe you. It's exactly the opposite. My life is all of our lives are changed because you made something that you thought was good. You weren't trying to pander to whatever you thought the internet was wanting. So, never once have I seen Viv go like, well, what do people want? No, it's all these characters are so true to her, and nothing is greenlit unless she fully believes in it, and that's how you get people that relate to it.
Viv, you're a real one. I don't know if you heard that.
I
You're
did
a
hear
real one.
that.
Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate it. But no, I'm so honored by everything about the project. So.
I just want to say, Stolas. You can stop me if I'm wrong about this, but what Stolas was originally supposed to be a lot darker, wasn't
He
it?
was actually. You can all thank Brandon, because there was a very early on meeting. Because in the beginning, the pilot is obviously, most people probably noticed by now, the pilot's very different from what the series kind of ended up being. And it was after the pilot when I was like, yeah, we're gonna make this. This is gonna be a show. And things were changing, and we were mapping out the whole season and everything like that. I asked you. I was like, so I kind of like the idea that Stolas and Blitz might be like an actual thing. Like, do you like? Is that something you like? And you were like, yeah. And then so now the show is what it is. So if you had said no, it might have been a very different show.
You did that for me, Blitzy. Bryce really fucked over the plot by being too adorable with the way he
Yes.
stole this. It's like, how are we gonna make this dark?
I will say, yeah, that also, like, Bryce, you stepping into the role also very much changed the character, in my opinion, vastly for the better, because it's impossible to hate Stolas, at least in my opinion. I think he's such an amazing character. I'm very biased. I love writing for him. But yeah, I think when we decided that night at Lancer's restaurant in Burbank, that the tone of the show and everything, like, just completely changed, and I think obviously for the better. I adore this story. Obviously, we're only partway through it, but we're much farther ahead in writing, and so excited to see where it goes.
And it's such depth, because he goes from that, and then he did have a dark moment in the episode where he comes to the rescue. And that was Stolas, a different Stolas, and I love that. So good job.
Spooky.
Yeah, it's always fun when you get to those moments. Like Brandon said, a funny character, you don't think they have the chance to have their heart broken. It's similar when you get to do something completely different from what the audience has come to expect, because that's when you feel a character starting to get built out, the complexity starting to come in, and honestly they become more human to me, because we all have all these sides in us, right? And so when we get to see those come out, it's always a thrill as an actor to get to do a completely different side, a shadow side of a character.
I really like that you're not afraid to go really high but also really low. I think the juxtaposition of that is like, it really smacks you in the face every time, and I like that. I want to go to like the extremes, Yeah, it's hashtag relatable.
Well, I think one of, a testament to the writing is, how much we as performers get attached to these characters in some really major ways. We're able to really empathize on an emotional level with them. I know for me, for Sally, I find a lot of common ground with her. Sassy, tall, unsolved murders. But for the rest of you, I would love to hear from each of you if you have one defining characteristic of your character that you identify with most, that really makes you feel connected to them?
Let's start with Ray. Oh, well, Blitz is an entrepreneur with a small amount of people that work for him, trying to be a name that's taken seriously. I mean, Blitz and I have very similar struggles. I'm not murderous, but I get a lot of Blitz's character is defined by him. You know, he's an imp. He's the lowest of the low in hell, and he's actually trying to make a name for himself, something more than most demons are trying to do. You know, so he's faced with this like kind of. I mean, it's funny because he's a little tiny guy, but he's the tallest of the little tiny. You know what I mean? Like not physically, but also inside. And I think that that's something I relate to. Is I've always felt like it's hard to be a comedian on the internet with my brand of humor, and have producers, give you a chance to be on a show that blows up the way, a fraction of the way this one did. And so I relate to Blitz, and also I love daddies. And I mean, who doesn't? Come on. Yeah.
That's a direct quote. You can tweet that.
I don't like daddies. I love them. Anyways, so I relate to a lot of things with Blitz. Most everything, except he kills people, he's red, has horns this tall. But beyond that, and by the way, he's not eating ketchup with his cheese. I just want to, some comments said they thought it was ketchup he puts on his cheese. No, that is hot sauce.
Ketchup, that's fucking slander.
No, yeah, that's the ones, and I still eat at least once a day.
Yeah, Blitz does that because that was when I came to your house, we did a live stream together, and you just went to the fridge, you got a piece of cheese out, and you started putting hot sauce on it.
Woo!
And I was like, and Adam was like, yeah, that's how he eats. And I was like, we're doing that.
Blitz literally use that as like a expletive.
I didn't write that, and she canonized everything, but we eat the same stuff apparently.
Well, it was originally, the line was originally like cheese and crackers, and we were like, okay, maybe that's a little too plain.
Cheese and hot sauce.
And so we changed it, yeah.
Anyway.
Hello. Shitty exes. That's it. That's it.
I have a lot of similarities with Luna. I think for better and worse, I have a lot of primal rage and anger inside of me, but I'm also by that same token, like primally at my core, very protective of the people that I love. And I think that Luna definitely is that and embodies that. Actually, not to get too dark here, but it's so funny. Helluvaboss is my parents' favorite thing. My mother's definitely favorite thing. She loves it. And my dad, my partner passed away last year of cancer, and it was obviously like incredibly traumatic. And my dad texted me a couple months ago that he had watched, I don't want to cry, the Luna and Octavia scene, and he was like, I'm trying to. Like, I might not always get it right to be there for you and be supportive of you, but I'm doing my best, and I'm trying. And it just, like, really, it really, like, hit me hard. I definitely, she's just a great character. It's really, the fact that this show can even, like, hit my parents hard in that way, or, like, they can resonate with them is pretty crazy. So, yeah. My dad's not much of a gamer. Yeah.
When I had the opportunity to step into this role, I also stepped into the role of mother. And I learned a love, an unconditional love, an unexplainable love, an intangible love that I never knew before, the kind of love that I have with my Moxie. And that's how I relate to Millie in that way, and that very love is what drives this very primal, feral, badass fight assassin.
No pressure, but those answers were really good, Richard.
I learned to love unconditionally. Well, musical theater, always musical. The question was, how are we like our characters? Is that
What's the defining characters
that
you
was the
identify
question.
with?
Okay.
Yes,
Musical theater. Neurotic. Insecure.
He is.
Not always, but I think Moxie definitely has his insecurities, right, Viv? Right?
Oh yeah. I think
Yeah.
He is not a possum.
Yeah, I am not a possum! I swear, one more possum at my table, I know you're out there!
Oh yeah.
I think also there's a sensitivity about Moxie. Like if you look at the episode where we're gonna like kill an entire family, Moxie's the one like, wait a minute, sir. But I'm also a lot like Crimson. No, I'm not. Although that's my favorite, one of my favorite episodes.
Yes, it is.
It's one of my favorite episodes. But I also think that love and understanding of relationships and a romantic. I'm a romantic, although Kristen, my lovely wife, do you agree? Oh, she left. I'm romantic. I believe in romance. I believe in love. And I do believe that that is the answer to everything. Even though I'm not always as sensitive as I could be, but I think that that's the lesson of life. That love can't conquer all. Yes. Freaking Erica's got me crying right now.
Yeah, I just want to thank everyone on the table for their vulnerability and their answers. It's a great question, and the answers have been amazing. I've learned something about each of you, so thank you for that. I would say for Stolas, obviously I came into the character as a theater performer missing stage, and something about Stolas and just his histrionics and his dramatics and his performative nature, I identified with as a child who needed an outlet. In my first grade parent-teacher conference, my teacher said to my parents, "I need you to find your son an outlet for his reckless creativity. Please find him a stage other than my classroom." And so I think ever since that time, I've been finding a way to express feelings that I don't understand, or energy I don't understand, through performance. And the more I got to know Stolas, the more I felt like he has a pain in his heart that he doesn't quite understand, and that the dramatics that he sometimes portrays are maybe a way of getting beyond that pain or trying to understand it more. And then, of course, there's the connection to his daughter. And when we started the show, I had only recently become a father to my daughter, and that was a really new and raw experience of the world that I'm still in. But so I obviously connect to his fatherly conundrums, and then the singing. You know, I can't deny how much the being able to express through song is something that I've always felt as well. That when words don't really suffice, sometimes music is the answer to trying to get something across. So all of those things combined, and then every now and then a little bit of demon rage feels good to get out too. That's my answer. Thank you.
Thank you all so much. On that same vein, we've heard from everyone performing the characters, but I'd love to turn that same question over to you, Viv, and have you talk a little bit about the themes that we've experienced this season and how they've come from a personal place with you. You know, what have we explored this season, and what are you excited to get more into in the second half of season 2?
Oh man, I mean, there's so many themes. A lot of the story. I mean, at this point, you know, I am also like in terms of storytelling. I'm a hopeless romantic. I love telling romance stories. I also love angst. So there's plenty of both of that in this show. Because yeah, like I don't think I set out to make it a romance story at the heart of it, but you know that's what it turned into, and I'm so glad it did because I think that it's a really complicated one. Obviously, the characters are very complex, and both Blitz and Stolas kind of come from kind of hard, you know, upbringings and situations that they both kind of are handling in different ways. And a big theme of the show is overcoming that hardship and abuse. The latest episode, obviously, is a very specific one about exploitation and about, you know, kind of being a creator, a performer, and kind of having that pressure on you to be perfect or to, you know, be right for the idol in your life and things like that. And I think overcoming those hardships is really important to me, and it's something that I've had to live through. And I don't know, I feel it's very important to put into my work and into my projects. It's also sometimes the safest place to put that trauma is into your work, because sometimes there's nowhere that can go other than therapy. So, you know.
Expensive.
Yeah, so the show is expensive therapy as well.
I want to add something to that, and there's not a nicer term for this, but I think those who don't are too young to get this won't get the word. But I mean, this show is basically a cum dumpster for a lot of our traumas as writers. It is. There's so much. We only write what we know. So when you see a traumatic experience happen, it's not like we think this is what it's like to go through that thing.
Yeah.
No, we've gone through it. One of us has.
Yeah, exactly.
Beautifully said.
Yeah, whenever you see something like that on the screen, you just know someone on the writing staff or someone went through this. It comes from a real place. But yeah, that's always what's very important to me about the show. And season 2, obviously, we're halfway through it, and so we have another half to go. But I think that everything's been set up for that second half, and it's going to be a very emotional second half, and I'm very looking forward to it.
The stage producer came and pulled me off stage to tell us we're running a little low on time, so we're going to move on to what's next. He brought me back there. I knocked him out. So we probably got about 10 minutes before he gets up and yells at me again.
We can do a lot in 10 minutes.
So yeah, we do a lot in 10 minutes. So moving on to what's coming next. But there was a small child who asked me to ask you a question. And I'm going to ask that question. Aren't you glad you said that now?
Well, they think it's a real dumpster.
Don't Google that. So her name is Criminy. Their name is Criminy. And they wanted to ask, what was the name of the little boy in the episode who did the sign language, and why the sign language?
You know, sometimes characters aren't given like official names on production, just because production is production. If it's not said, and sometimes we just don't think of it. I don't know. I don't want to come up with a bad name on the spot, but
Criminy is a good name.
Criminy is a cute name. What about Oliver? Like
Oliver.
What a twist. All right, so let's talk about what is coming up and what people can look forward to from your characters or from the show.
Spoiler.
Musical. When the Blitz song is happening.
Sooner than you think, actually.
Oh wait, so we're confirming this. I have not said anything about this. That just came out of your mouth, so.
You're welcome.
I can share that we may or may not have recorded in a season 2 episode a Blitz and Stolas song. You will find out eventually.
My heart.
It is horrifying. I'm just saying, going into a duet with that guy. And what he's capable of, I am very honored to have been a part of that.
What else can we expect from your characters? Bryce, do you want to, what can you say that under NDA? And she's right here, so don't get in trouble.
Yeah. Well, I think Stolas continues to try to find his truest self, and is in pursuit of that in relationship to some big feelings that he has for a certain imp, and the complexities that surround that. And, you know, I think that you're going to see Stolas working through things he's never had to work through before because of who he is and who he was born into being. And I'm really excited. I was really excited to record it and excited for it to be out there and see the you know, as people grow, sometimes it feels like they're peeling away layers of things they don't need. And I think that's going to continue to happen for Stolas.
For Moxie, you can expect him to be in more episodes. Until his death. Oh my God, did I just say it? I'm so sorry.
Can't say that. Not supposed to know yet.
That'll be out there in 5 minutes. That's not true. It was a joke.
There's
That was
never,
a joke.
There's never a good time to fire a voice actor.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's gonna be more Moxie singing and loving and killing. I don't know what to say, Viv.
We're being cut up, but given that there's a sniper or a scope on each one of us right now, not to reveal anything. Viv, before we end, anything you want to reveal that's coming up to the channel? Anything that's being worked on right now that we can look forward to in the next few months? So what are we looking at on the channel?
Absolutely. So, so some people have asked when to expect the next episode. Unfortunately, the next episode will not come out until sometime next year.
Don't open with that. Don't open with that.
But in December, we haven't confirmed a date yet, but in December you will be getting an amazing music video. It is a Stolas song. Song. It was actually originally a fan song that we collaborated with to make canon, and it is beautiful, absolutely gorgeous, and we put our all into the visuals of it, and I'm so excited.
So, I was just gonna say, can the Blitz puppet in the front row just take a bow, please? We all know the video that's from.
That's Bunny Wolf Cosplay, who hosted the cosplay gathering.
Wolf Bunny cosplay, and quite a puppet maker too.
All right, guys, so that brings us to the close of the panel. I want to thank our amazing cast and my lovely co-host for helping me through this. We had such a good time. We're going to take a quick picture with everybody, and then we have to get off the stage. I will be on the next panel arguing Jujutsu Kaisen versus Naruto. So we're going to hang out for that and do some comedy.
And come visit us at our booths. And also, I'm still in the show.
There will be more salad meetings. All right, so stand up for a picture real fast, and we'll get one with